Kind of an odd coincidence. I was just getting ready to go out and look at some trees, kind of plan my route out, how to get these out of here. Because I'm dealing with pretty big stuff now. Well, before I went out, I decided I would go out and get mail. And it happened to be that, I was planning on carrying my K31 along with me. Kind of nice, and I like the way the sling is mounted on the side. Plus, just really accurate gun. Well, when I went out and got mail, there was an envelope from 303 Canadiana. And I know he said he was sending something, but I didn't know. It happened to be the K31 clips. And I've never worked with these before. They're weird. It's cardboard with metal. And it's kind of funny, with nothing in them, they almost seem like they'd be fragile. Though they survived through the mail, empty, I loaded them. And the envelope you had them in is basically as much tape as it is paper. So it was kind of like a bag of tape. But they survived. But I thought it was odd. They're funny in that when they're empty, the only thing really holding them is this part. But when they're loaded, they're a pretty solid thing. Like I've always thought about buying some of these, but they tend to run about $20, 15 to 20 for used old clip, it just seems a little high. I've always thought about buying another magazine to have for these, but they make a reproduction magazine that is around $70, and the originals are around $140. So I've never actually made that step, and they really, 6 rounds is really enough to usually get you through anything. But these clips, they are interesting. I'd heard that somebody is making some kind of a plastic clip, new production stuff. But they seem to work. They're, like I say, they're kind of rigid when they're loaded. And they actually do load a magazine very easily. So they got a purpose. Just an unusual design. I like the Swiss rifle. Actually, I've always been tempted to, I'd like to get one of the old Vetterlies. They're just, really quirky, queer looking things. Unusual enough that it interests me. The old Smith-Rubens, for a while there, I was tempted to buy one of them because for a while they were pretty common. They were around. I could see, you don't find any K31s, but you could find the old Smith-Rubens. But now they've kind of dried up. Actually, all surplus rifles have dried up, from what I can tell, until they get into the newer, like SKSs and stuff like that really don't interest me that much. But the good old ones, doesn't seem to be much. I really, I have no interest in new rifles. I can't see myself ever buying one. And, the old ones have gotten to be just crazy prices. I know the one day somebody made a comment on that video I did about a 32 Winchester Special. It said that the Winchester Specials are so expensive. Well, actually, when I bought mine, it was much cheaper than a regular 94. They used to be very low priced. But things now, everything has gotten out of hand in the old gun and the used gun department. But the new ones are cheap. But they're crap. But I think that's what caused the old ones to go up in value so much. Because I'd have to say every gun that I have bought is probably worth twice what I paid for it now. which is good, but it ain't like I'm selling guns. Well, anyway, thanks to 303 Canadiana for these things. Interesting, like I say, they're fairly rigid, so you could carry one in the pocket, and they certainly work very well. Just crazy price on them. That's an odd design, though. But that's why I'd like to get one of the Vetterlies that had two magazines. I thought that was kind of cool. Well, also in the mailbox was a Brian box. Now, this is spooky in that it's got two soggy corners, and on the front it says, there's a warning about fragile, glass, liquid. Well, I think whatever it was, she didn't survive. But I can't smell anything, so I don't know what this liquid would be, but it wouldn't be something too obnoxious. Well, there's something here that this will be easy to open. Sogged. And it hasn't been cold enough to freeze. World War II in the Pacific. Time Life books, some of them Time Life books are just actually really good. Well, like I say, okay, here's the culprit. It was a can of Moxie, which must have been slammed up against one of these pulled pork or the edge of another one of these cans of brown bread. Actually, it still got part of it in it. Well, okay, that's the only one that took the beating, though. Yeah, nothing else. Well, Jell-O got a little soggy, but I think that's sealed inside. Orange Jell-O. And lime Jell-O. Well, there's probably a note in here telling me what I'm supposed to do with the Jell-O. Chocolate. Reese's. Ready to eat French toast sandwich. That's weird. I mean, it almost looks like a large Fig Newton. Beef with barbecue sauce. Extended shelf life. Well, interesting. I wonder if you're... Oh, I was wondering if it could be, if it's supposed to be heated, but it said it could be either way. But I would imagine it would be better heated. Well, that's different. Well, this, I find hard to believe. But we'll have to see. I've been curious about this. You always see it freeze-dried ice cream and stuff. I've never had it. But I've always been curious about it. Well, what we got? A freeze-dried ice cream sandwich. We'll try that someday. I don't know how in the world if you get it wet or whatever. Well, we'll go into that someday. Feels like a brick. Well, this is Moxie that survived. More pork and more pork. More root beer barrels. Then, of course, a heck of a lot of these Slim Jims. Manwich. You know what, actually, I've eaten this before. And once in a while, I actually kind of get a craving for this stuff. It's something I do buy whenever it's on sale. I'll buy Manwich. That's got to be Moxie. And that's got to be Moxie. Then more dog treats. And another one of these cones, which he did mention one time. They light up. They've got an LED in there that flashes. But I got one of them on the World Raider keychain. Brass nickel plate. 308. Yeah. And another one of these weird, well, I don't know why they got a little bump on the back. It must be like a plastic thing that goes on them. Some of the new black powder stuff is just catnip. Oddly enough, I haven't seen a cat for nearly a week. We've had nice weather here just lately. You know, when the cat is off on a ramble, as far as I can tell. But it's done that before. Ginger hard candies, potted meat, which, you know, I'm always still a little leery of. Cat food. Well, I better hope that cat comes back. Well, I'm sure the cat has done it before. I'm sure the cat will be back. Chicken flavored cat treats. Yeah, I'm surprised that the cat would meander off. Well, he's got a note in here, and I'm going to have to try to dry out before being able to read. Yeah, that one can of moxie kind of run amok in here. What this is. Fig spread from Croatia. I don't get a lot of food from Croatia, and I didn't know they grew figs there. Well, that'll be interesting. It'll be like the insides of a fig Newton. Well, I guess I'm lucky that this box is pretty fragile after getting soaked. I guess I'm lucky it didn't start shedding stuff all along the way like that one did with the bullets that time. Well, now I'm stocked up again. Then I'll go out and make my rounds marking some trees, because I got to get them while the ground is froze. And right now, it's the right time of year to cut logs for building. It's late winter, early spring. And that's where you got the sap going up into the trees, so the bark actually strips off easier. But also the wood from last year now is solidified into the main trunk of the tree. So this is the time. Plus I can get around without tearing things up. Yeah, this will be good reading. Well, thanks to Brian, and thanks to 303 Canadiana. But like I say, I think, empty, they'd be a risk to carry in the pocket, though they got the tin reinforcing and stuff, but just a very odd choice of a design. But they do work better than any other stripper clip I've worked with, particularly considering that they're trying to, going from a single stack to a double stack, that they feed into that smoothly. Someday I'm going to have to try loading my Springfield with stripper clips. I've got the guide off right now. I have to put it back on, and I think the Swedish clips work for that. But just out of curiosity, see how that works. Because I think part of it is these work so well because everything stays in line. It's held in that confined area. Interesting. Just too bad they're so overpriced. Well, same with like magazines. It'd be nice to have another magazine, but $140, that I'm not going to pay for another magazine. One is usually quite enough. But it would be good to carry one stripper clip full in your pocket. Just a very odd choice. I'd like to see, somebody said they made a new version that has plastic on it. Because these are really, it's like a hardboard. And not really terribly thick, with just that tin to count on for strength. Well, I'm going to make a trip around. But thanks to you two.